Hello, I'm warning you, this is going to be more of a pregnancy rant than it is a pregnancy vlog, but I'm going to try and cover the basics to start with. Excuse me, I've got a cold still. I know it's been late, but I had a cold and I really didn't feel very well, and it got better for a couple of days and it got worse, and I just really wasn't up for doing a video with running Alice to and from all these rehearsals and everything. It just got put off until today, so hey. So I'm going to keep clearing my throat because it's driving me insane. Yeah, it's been a really crappy week. It actually has been pretty crappy. Still pregnant. There will be bump shots at the end from the previous week's Instagram. I am now 39 weeks and 3 days, I think. And I will go into a rant at the end about when I think he's going to be born. Pregnancy symptom wise, the swelling is just ridiculous. My feet, I might put a picture of my foot in later. I don't think I mentioned it in the last video, but I had to get my wedding ring cut off. I don't know if I'd mentioned it or if I didn't, because I just kept bawling my eyes out every time I thought about it. So my hands are still swollen, but they're not as bad as they were, but there's no ring there now. So it's just, everything's just getting a bit much. I know I sound like an ungrateful cow, and it's fine because it's not my baby, therefore I don't have to be grateful. But I'm really miserable now. I'm like really, really miserable, and I dislike feeling like this because I'm not, as I said before, a miserable person, and it's just getting worse, not better. I've got a lot of fears about when he's going to come. Fears sounds ridiculous, but as I said, I will explain. But yeah, I'm still exhausted, back pain, pelvic pain, the swelling is ridiculous. I'm now down to one pair of shoes. My wide fit Clark shoes, my decent ones, are no longer fit. I can't even wear flip-flops. The top of my foot is ballooned so much. I'm down to one pair of ballet shoes, and if it rains, I just have permanently wet feet, which, to be fair, I am seeing the funny side of that a little bit, but it's just all these little things. I'm really struggling to get clothes on now, like putting knickers and trousers on. It hurts, and it's just a bit crazy. I've never had a pregnancy like this before, and I keep trying to convince myself, like, count your blessings, count your blessings. Some people have really horrible pregnancies all the time, and I know that, but I don't care. The selfish, childish part of Lisa doesn't care. She's just like, okay, enough now. Where is karma? I'm doing this for someone else. He's fully cooked. He can come out now. There's no need for him to stay in there. I'm suffering. I don't get paid compensation. I don't get a holiday. I don't even get a meal out after he's born, pretty much. I'm not getting anything out of this except the like warm glow of helping someone. And that warm glow does not feel warm or glowy enough right now to go through all of this. And then I've got this huge fear in my head where I'm going to probably pee people off by sounding like this really moany, miserable cow, and like some people would chop off their left arm to be pregnant, and I totally respect that, as I've said that before, but this is me in my little ranty world, and so I apologise if I offend anyone, but I'm just going to rant anyway. I still got horrible feelings going to come on Saturday. It's my worst nightmare birth-wise. It sounds really ridiculous and over-dramatic, I'm aware, but when I explain it, I'm thinking you might understand a bit more. Basically, the whole thing is just going to be an absolute raving nightmare if he comes on that day any later than, say, 10 in the morning. In fact, to be fair, even coming that late would be a right royal pain in the arse. I have to stay in the hospital, as I said, for 6 hours post-birth, minimum of 6 hours. If they don't do the check when he's exactly 6 hours old, like with Seth, it took them 12 hours to do the check, but it was a home birth. I'm hoping on the labour ward it'll be a lot sort of sooner. The only reason it wouldn't be is if I had him like 10 o'clock at night, we would probably end up having to wait for until about 9 o'clock in the morning to get him checked. But obviously if he came Saturday, any time other than early hours of the morning, I'm going to be a bit buggered, because that is the day Alice has her big show. Now, her school is celebrating, her stage school, not school, is celebrating its 20th anniversary, and once every 3 years it does a huge stage show at local theatre. And it's a huge deal to the kids. It's a huge deal to the school. It's, you know, it's cost me a small fortune in clothing and paying for her to be in it, and the tickets for the theatre itself. I mean, a lot of money. She's spent over a year working her way to doing this. She's so excited. She's an 8-year-old girl. She's a total girl and a total sort of princess. She loves stage and singing and dancing, and it is everything to her because she's 8. This is the be-all and end-all of her existence, pretty much. And the show is on Saturday. which when we found out, because obviously I'd already been pregnant, they set the date, and I was like, oh well, I'm sure it'll be fine. But there's that fear that it won't be. Then that's exacerbated by the fact that a couple of months ago, about 2 months ago, my in-laws decided to get married, and they booked the 14th. And when the father-in-law rang up and said, oh, when's Lisa due, we didn't explain any more than that, because you just went, oh, it's the 13th stroke the 14th of November. You just think that weekend's going to be a write-off. So we didn't actually mention Alice's show or anything, because Darren was having a really quick conversation with his dad, and I don't think it occurred to him to say anything. And so, yeah, he said, oh, well, that's the date. He went, all right, then, fine. And then it comes back a couple of weeks later that they've booked the 14th. And I was a bit like, I pretty much give birth on my due date, so I don't think I'm going to be there. Apologies for that, but you know, one, I'm going to have to take Alice to her show, so Alice and I are not going to be there at all. We were hoping time-wise we could wangle it, like if they were getting married in the daytime, Alice and I could go to the actual wedding itself and then whiz off and take her to the show, because the shows are in the evening. I think it's at 4:30, one's at 4:30 and then one's at 7:30. And we'd wangle it that way. But they've booked to get married at 3:30, I think it is, and I was like, yeah, we can't get back in an hour. That's not going to work. They're over an hour away from us to get married, so Alice and I can't go to that. The problem I've got, that even though Darren, bless his little cottons, I felt really bad for him. We did ask Alice, is there any chance she would skip doing the show? And you know what kids are like, the absolute devastation. It was everything to her. She just, another nail is broken. God damn it, they keep breaking. She was just no. So Darren's taking George and Edith to the actual wedding, and then he's going to have to miss the sit-down meal and the reception and everything and come back, because they're getting married so late. By the time they get to the reception and everything, Darren's pretty much going to have to leave, because we've got tickets for the 7:30 show, and because it's like an hour and a half away, I think it is, it's just because they're not actually having the sit-down meal until like 6 o'clock. Darren's going to have to leave, so I think they're a bit offended that we can't be there, but at the same time, everything else was set before the wedding date. It's just unfortunate that there were limited weekends at short notice for them to have. I just, you know, I do feel bad for them, but it is what it is, and I don't mean it in a horrible way. My kid comes first, and Alice, I said to her about, well, you know, Grandma could take you to, because I could have gone to the, technically if I wasn't giving birth, I don't know if I think I am now going to be in labour, knowing my luck, but other than that I could have gone to the wedding itself and it would have only been Alice missing. But the little face went, and the eyes filled with tears, she went, please mummy, I'm nervous, please come with me and drop me off, because I want you to be there when I go in. And that was it, you know, that wasn't a choice then, that was, Alice comes first, the end. She's my daughter, if she wants me to drop her off, she wants me to be with her, I'm going to be there. But then if I go into labour, or I've given birth already, but I'm stuck in the hospital, I'm not going to be able to take her either which way. My mum will do it, I know she will, but the reality is if I go into labour on Saturday, I'm going to be on my own, and I have no birthing partner, no support. I'm going to be stuck in the hospital, not being able to see my daughter, not being able to support my daughter. And it's going to be horrible. It's going to be absolutely horrible. And I may not get to see the show at all if I give birth later in the day. Or it's just, the whole thing is just going to be absolutely horrific. It will just, I can't even imagine how it's going to work out unless I give birth in the early hours of Saturday morning. If I have him on the Saturday. And yeah, I honestly, I don't know what to do. I didn't think I'd still be pregnant now, which is probably foolish of me. But I suppose Seth lulled me into a false sense of security, bless his cotton socks, because he gave me 37 weeks. And I don't know what to do. I've done like so much to try and encourage him to come out, and I was just so hopeful he'd be out this weekend and that I would just have a few days to heal. So sitting in a theatre watching my daughter for 3 hours was not going to kill me because of the pain. But that I can take as long as I'm there. I don't care how uncomfortable it is. I don't care. I want to be there. And at the minute, I've got this huge fear that I'm not going to be. And that sucks. That really sucks. There's that fear that I'm going to let my child down is just horrible. I can't even put it into words. I've just sort of had enough now. I know I sound really horrible and dramatic and probably like this awful person. Everyone's going to hate me, but I've had enough now. I've been sick, either physically or feeling sick, the whole pregnancy. I've gone, I think, a grand total of 9 days without actually, like, either clinging onto the toilet bowl or feeling like I need to. I haven't been able to eat lunch or dinner for probably coming up to 2 weeks properly. I think the odd day I managed to eat some soup, some clear broth soup last night at 9:30. After having an apple and some soup at lunch. That's pretty much it. Or cereals on the odd occasion I can eat cereals. I'm exhausted, I can't sleep, I'm in pain with my pelvis. I'm now so swollen that I'm down to 1 pair of shoes, which I think I mentioned at the beginning. My wedding ring has been destroyed, having been cut off, which I can't even put into words how devastating that is. I've reached my limit now. I personally have gotten to that point where I'm done. I'm done on a personal level, and if that makes me a horrible person, so be it, but I'm done. He needs to come out now. There's no reason he can't come out now, and I'm finding myself getting quite frustrated with the fact that he isn't, because it makes you realise that there is no karma. There literally is no karma, because if there was, I would just go into labour like now, and he'd be born, and it would be fine, and I'd feel like a turd for being dramatic, but, you know, everyone would get over it, because pregnant hormones, raw, haven't slept in ages. Well, I've slept, but not well, and I'm sick, and, you know, people will be like, oh, let her off, because she's a turd, it's all good. But I don't think it's going to work like that. I don't think it's going to work like that at all. I think I'm getting more and more and more defeated with the fact that my daughter is going to be devastated because I chose to be a surrogate, and I'm going to end up giving birth on my own, and it's just going to be horrible. The whole thing is just going to be horrible, and that's that fear I've got going on. And then I hate myself for feeling like this and for being that person, but I can't not. It's very hard to get your exhausted, tired, in pain self in happy mode and be upbeat and positive when you actually just feel defeated, which I know sounds mega dramatic, but I'm just, as I said, I've always said I was going to be honest, and right now that's how I feel. I feel miserable and defeated and fed up, and I'm just praying that he comes and that I get a couple of days respite after he's born to heal, so I can actually go and enjoy seeing my daughter on stage, and that I don't have that fear of letting her down, because that is something she will never, ever, ever forget. And I know, thankfully, she's a good enough kid that she's not going to, like, hate me for it, but she's always going to be sad, and it's always going to be something, I think, that makes her sad when she thinks about it, that mummy wasn't there, because mummy was choosing to do this. And I think that's my fear. She may not feel like that at all, and then I'm being a turd, but that is my fear. So, yes, I did warn you, this was a pregnancy rant and a moan, and I am a horrible person, and everyone's like, oh, you're so nice, so amazing. I'm not. I'm a horrible person, and I'm a horrible, miserable person right now, but he is worth it for his parents' sake. He is. He will be so loved, and he is so wanted, and he's loved already, to be honest. So you just sort of cling on to that and know that you can't regret the happiness you're giving someone else. You can just regret the misery that you're giving your own family. But that's, you know, a risk we take. So, yeah, I'm going to get off because this is exceptionally long, and apologies for being so miserable, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye.